Hey, it's the Fish Guy. We're reporting live today from the Fish Guy's office.
About to get hijacked. We're gonna take you on a tour of Something Fishy Mystic Aquariums. There's a pond. Did I tell you about the pond yet? We'll find out. We're here in Rhode Island at Something Fishy. Look at all of these trucks. Are you kidding me right now? These guys are legit. Unbelievable. We're going inside. Hi, Kurt.
Hey, take it easy.
How's it going? I'm Brian Levinson. This is Kurt Harrington, the Fish Guy, and we're in Rhode Island. Tom and myself, we got on a plane last night. We had to stay at Kurt's house, so we've got some behind-the-scene footage. There's some pretty amazing stuff. We're talking a pond. We got a 500-gallon reef tank right in his office. A pool table. We played some pool last night, which was pretty incredible. Did you? Did you win? I don't know. There's many games. We might have to have a rematch tonight. Yeah, we're in town checking out the service company. We believe at Tank It Easy that there's a lot of ways to get to Rome, and iron sharpens iron. So knowing Kurt and their business model, we're like, wow, we would love to just spend some time to see their operation, how it works, and really kind of absorb it in. Anytime we hire someone to Tank It Easy, we really believe the first couple months, it's very important that we don't judge. We just learn the Tank It Easy way, and then in a couple months they can give us feedback and stuff that they learn, and we can incorporate it into our culture. What I'm finding out here is that they've been doing the same process, but like on steroids.
Well, so, I mean, we did visit you a year or two ago, and we learned from you. So that's all we've done is taken those ideas.
It goes back and forth. So it's really important to realize that iron does sharpen iron, and we don't need to be secretive about what works because we all have the same goal. And that's to grow the hobby and grow professional aquariums. So what I'm saying is there is all these applications that if you're not keeping it a secret, there's a lot of success that can come from
I think you're absolutely right. I full-heartedly believe that sharing is huge. I think one of the key things is if we all come together and we're communicating the right way to build an aquarium and sharing that experience. So what you're doing in Chicago, what we're doing in Rhode Island are building aquariums that people love, right? They're clean. There's this old thing about aquariums are dirty, they smell, they belong in the kid's bedroom or something, but not, in the family home. We're changing that, absolutely changing that. Everybody that is a client of ours would be proud to show off and are proud to show off their aquarium, and I know that of your clients as well. But we still have to come together and build this true reality behind simplicity in aquarium ownership, and that having an aquarium is an amazing thing. And we need to be able to work together to make sure that the guys that aren't doing it right are taught how to do it right, because if everyone's doing it right, the industry will grow and more people will want to get an aquarium in their location.
There's also a lot less excuses for not putting this stuff together appropriately, I should say, is because the equipment has come such a long way. The information as far as the different species you can contain and it can thrive. It used to be, my dad's tank, I love his tank, and it was great. I was in awe of, 125 gallon with some fish only decorations and just a couple clownfish.
Is that how you got into the hobby?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a picture of me as a baby in my great grandmother's arms, and it's at my parents' house. And there's this 125 right behind me. So it was soothing for me then. It's been soothing my entire life. But I think a lot of people relate stress to it. It would be similar to a yard in a sense of people know the concept of how to maintain your yard. Let's talk about fertilization, choosing things that would be appropriate for that area or what's set up for that region, temperature parameters and rainfall, that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, the maintenance, you would think, you could simplify it. You could say, I need to mow the lawn and I need to water it. Okay, those are two true statements, but not true in the sense that there's a lot more to it.
Sure.
There's so much more.
I actually think taking care of an aquarium might be easier than the lawn.
Well, it can, but in Chicago, we don't have yards.
Well, there's the solution right there.
We have no yards. So the only thing we have to appreciate is our dogs and our aquariums. So some people are allergic to dogs. Not many people are allergic to aquariums.
Haven't met one yet.
not yet. But no, it's really cool. I love the space. You can pull up right in front, and the fact you have things so well organized, it really takes the mental checklist. Did I remember this? Do I have everything that I need? The surprise. Whoop. Oh my gosh, I need to have, it doesn't matter what you forgot. You basically have a fish store on wheels.
Sure.
that's going to every account.
Yeah, you're talking about our grid system for inventory on our trucks. Yeah, well, one of the things that's important is, making any money in service in any industry, but definitely in aquariums, is razor thin margins. So I learned from, back in the day, probably, on the brink of bankruptcy, because you like my accountant told me, why don't you get a job? You'll make more money.
Sure.
And I really sat at that point, I think it was 2003, and said, well, something must be off. And it really came down to just being systematic. So we figured out how to do more work in the same amount of time and to be really efficient with it. And we actually didn't just meet our accounting objectives, we far exceeded them per technician because of the systems that we shared with you today. And if you get to an appointment and you can't do it, one appointment in a day, you have 7 appointments, you miss one, that day is no longer profitable.
Absolutely.
So every detail matters, and you got to make sure that you're not shortchanging your day, because then that day's not making you any money.
What I love about this is that there's only so much bandwidth any human can really process. So like, if you're really focused on the livestock, which everyone is, making things look what we call the white glove treatment or showroom quality, if you're focused on that, most of the stuff that we do, as I consider myself a tech, even though I run a lot of different things, but when I'm out in the field and I'm taking care of a tank, there's so many things that I took care of that you will never see, because that's the job of someone who cleans.
That's right.
Absolutely. Someone is trying to get rid of all the issues and all the problems so that you become spoiled. Everything appears magical. Algae doesn't exist, sickness doesn't exist, and every fish is fat and happy. That's the goal.
And it's in a very preventative way.
Right.
So, if you're going to a tank and cleaning algae that is visible, it's really, well, how could that have been done in a better way so that it actually wasn't even, the customer never experienced it?
Right.
I always say we put you on a schedule so that when we come, your tank still looks clean. Because even one day of the tank not looking good in a hotel or in Google's offices or in my home is not, you don't want that, right?
Unacceptable.
Last night when you guys were coming for the first time to my house, I didn't have to schedule the aquarium cleaning around it. My tank is always clean.
Right.
And that's because of the proactive actions that our team takes in putting the schedule together to make sure that happens. And that goes along with, we pull apart pumps every 6 months. How many maintenance companies are doing that? But we know that even though the customer might not realize that we're doing that, we're pulling it apart, we're cleaning it, putting it back together, because that'll add years to that pump and prevent an emergency call from us needing to go out there.
Also, let's be honest, it's a life support system. That's literally what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're not having that put together correctly and there's something that's wrong, would you want to go back to the hospital that didn't have the defibrillator set up right, or like your IV properly done? When we stop and think that they're not just beautiful decorations, these are living things that we have a responsibility. And so by having the checks and everything in place, it's not just a sales thing anymore. It is, we have a duty. We have a duty to make sure these things are done correctly.
So let me ask you this, Brian. It's something that we come up across quite a bit is in our industry as a whole.
Sure.
When a customer wants, let's say, a 55-gallon aquarium, you can buy it at Petco, PetSmart, great companies. They are huge supporters of the hobby and the industry. A lot of them are involved in conservation, which I appreciate. But if you go into any retail store, for example, typically and say, hey, I want a 55-gallon freshwater tank.
Sure.
There might be a promotional kit. $300, $400, $500, a tank, stand, filter, whatever. You get home and you can't set it up because you still need the sand and the gravel and the heater and a number of other things to make it successful.
Sure.
And usually you end up going back to the store several times, and at the end of the day, that $400 or $500 original purchase is more like $1,000 or $1,200. When a customer comes to Something Fishy, we actually just start with the turnkey system. We don't give customers what they ask for; we give them what they want. When someone says, I want an aquarium kit, what they really mean is, I'd like to have a fully set up aquarium that's ready to go so I can add fish to it. So what we find is when customers come to us, our price might even be double what somebody else's is, but we're actually giving them double or more of the list of items. So we might have 48 items going into that 55-gallon tank versus the non-turnkey of 3 or 4 that is supposedly a kit, right down to how to maintain it and use and have the tools to maintain it, so that once your tank is set up, you can go right into maintenance the following week. How do you handle that price? Do you agree to the turnkey versus in educating the customer that, listen, the kit for $500 is really going to be $1,000? How do you handle that?
I think the way that we gauge it is we're building relationships, whether it's somebody comes in the shop, is calling, or we're seeing out on different shows, we might meet out here. No matter who we're talking to, we're building a relationship. So hindsight is always 20/20. You don't want someone looking back and saying, hey, when I met Brian over at Tank It Easy, he told me a bunch of stuff. I used 2 or 3 things, and it's not, I had to buy more things. It was in poker, it's called a string bet. Okay.
Good analogy.
Yeah, we don't.
Right?
We want to make sure that there's enough places in society right now where that is a potential. We're not trying to get you into the teaser group of like, here's 20 different things we just put into a package. Everything that we choose is stuff that we use personally. Otherwise, we just don't sell it. So a lot of times we'll cherry pick the products we really appreciate and like, but we say, hey, this is what we use. There's a lot of good stuff out there. These are our favorites. And so we think this is what's needed. And also, everything that we're designing is for a 1 week or 2 week cycle where we're not touching it. We can't touch it in between that time. So if you're doing it yourself, what a better advice for me to give you in a way that on your every 2 weeks, you're attacking the tank as far as doing a service or a water change and maintenance.
But nothing in between.
But nothing
right?
in between.
Keep it simple.
And feed, except for feeding.
Yeah, of course.
The Tank It Easy way.
That's not a chore.
It's cheesy, but we say, we do all the work so you can tank it easy.
That's right.
So
I love
can
it.
Relax.
There's something fishy going on there.
Absolutely. It's not a secret is the point. You can tell somebody the exact recipe of what's going on, but it's like the experience to know it needs to be implemented. You need to actually execute on that. So we'll say, hey, you're not going to get that advice necessarily at a big box store. You're going to get that from more of a specific partner. You build that relationship with someone. You're not going to call Amazon to be like, hey, can I talk to the customer service part of Amazon? It's just not going to be there.
That's right.
It's your local fish store. It's your local fish guy. It's everybody that you can talk to, but you have to be selective because there's a lot of opinions out there. Are we talking to someone who is holding down the freshwater section at Walmart, or are you talking to someone who cleans 500 fish tanks in a month?
Yeah, that's right.
If you're talking to that expertise, that is where the street cred comes in. That's the resume. So that's where iron sharpens iron. Going to the people that are doing it successfully, what makes them successful? How are they keeping all these tanks sparkly clean? How does it look like this? And you can check up. You can see, we just walked in here. Even if there was prep work, this doesn't happen in a day.
Sure.
This doesn't happen in a week. This takes regular maintenance to have established tanks doing well.
Well, you saw when we popped in, like, no one knew we were coming today. You saw how busy everyone was, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
What were they doing?
I think there's some ping pong going on. So I think you guys work hard and play hard is what we're getting at here. But that's the idea. You can work smarter, not harder, if you're actually enjoying your day. And we kind of broke down with you a little bit to kind of see a day in the life, like how you guys are structuring your workloads by leaving a buffer in there so that you can handle more work.
Right.
If you need to, you can handle illness. Because humans are animals too. Shocker. We get sick and we need time off. We need to handle things. So to have systems in place to cover that.
You got to plan for that, right? So look, we're all going to have days where we're sick or we're not on our game and need time off, whatever.
Right.
So instead of it being an urgent matter, just plan for it actively.
Right.
So we do that. We know that we need to have, for example, our techs work Monday through Thursday. And by having that schedule, if we have a snow day, if it's a Monday holiday, we're easily able to accommodate
Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm assuming the Super Bowl is kind of a big one around here.
Actually, you would think I should be, with our culture, we should definitely do that, but we actually have work every Monday after the Super Bowl.
Okay.
But I like your idea, and for next year, when the Patriots are in the Super Bowl again, I think we're gonna do the Monday.
It hurts, Kurt. It hurts a lot. So when the Bears win the Super Bowl,
who are the Bears again?
They're out of Chicago. It's a local team.
Oh, okay.
They win. I guarantee you, Take It Easy is shutting. The whole city would shut down. But anyway.
Yeah, but you really don't have anything to worry about.
Well, I've had the Blackhawks and the Cubs. I mean, I guess.
But one last question as we wrap up.
Yes, sir.
So we've known each other for a few years.
Oh, yeah.
I've been at your place, which is amazing.
Thank you.
Nate Levine introduced us
Yes.
from Fishbit, which is really cool. I'm appreciative of that and the time that we spent together. What were some of your expectations prior to getting here? Because we've shared a lot of information.
Sure.
We're part of Fish Guy Peer Group and a lot of time on the phone as well. What are some of your expectations prior to coming here? And now you've kind of seen our operations, seen some of the metrics, the dashboarding, the way our vans are loaded, our installation trailer, so forth and so on. How did we live up to those expectations? Can you share that with us?
Absolutely. So I think in my world, it's always been passion first. Trying to find people who have passion and then work with what parts they have. I consider every human being on the planet to be a piece of pie, and there's different pieces that we all have. There's some missing pieces as well. So as a team, I try to diversify the different slices to cover the entire pie. I feel like you guys do that remarkably well, having people in different zones that are ultimately responsible, independent, and ways to hold each other accountable. I come from a corporate world, so I'm very attracted to that type of structure.
Yeah, structure's key.
It is. And so we find different ways that we manufacture structure, but I think you guys have done a phenomenal job as far as getting everyone on the same page. There's plenty of different acronyms to shorten up phrases. There's accountability, and I believe you call them huddles.
Yes.
Huddles. You guys get together in huddles. So we do it in a very similar way, but I think there's some prep work. It's almost like a kitchen, like getting the materials and everything ready, prep work for the next day's cooks, the technicians to come in to be successful in their day. There's only so much bandwidth. So you guys are doing a great job of just focusing in on getting it not from A to Z, but maybe, A to D, just getting it from that point and then passing it off. It's still assembly line, even though the day of the service, it's the tech in the field, the face that is actually dealing.
So kind of to reiterate what you're saying is instead of having a technician, for example, do A to Z, we're having the tech just do A, maybe Q and Z.
Yeah.
They finish the job, but there are a lot of other aspects to the tech's day here at Something Fishy that are being done behind the scenes.
Right.
Let me tell you, here's our motto. If you can take it away from a tech, then do it. If we can simplify something for them so that they can be faster, quicker, and put a higher quality of output to our clients in the field, then that's what we're going to do.
The challenge to myself and my team is my takeaway from this so far. There's many, but one big one is making sure to give my techs more time to look at the tank, to literally time out. I can see it because a lot of other things are being handled. My two hands are on the scene to do things that I can touch and see, but there's all these other helping hands that have gotten me there. So take the time. I've already gotten in the car. I've already had lunch. I'm geographically in the zone of what needs to be done. By taking more of the prep work, takes the guessing or like the double check. We do a lot of double checks, and we're kind of creative with geography as far as logistically, how are we getting from one place to the next, getting up in and out of loading docks. But I love the idea that if you forgot something, it's not a day killer.
That's right.
It's there. I saw this plumbing trailer. Holy cow. There's a saw, there's extra blades, there's everything down to 2 sets of hammers, all the different size PVC plumbing you could possibly need, pumps, but that's just the I could go on forever about what I just saw. But that's just the plumbing trailer. In every truck you've got backups of all the different things you might need, and then slips to remind you it's empty and I need a refill. Mine's kind of blowing. It's just interesting to see how that works, and having all the hoses there, having different containers that are labeled clearly, color-coded, so you can tell exactly what's fresh water, what's salt water. So as you transition between different accounts, you know what you need based upon color. And all that's what's the gentleman's name in the back?
Anthony, he's awesome.
Anthony. So Anthony is prepping all this stuff ahead of time to make sure that you got it and you can run with it. And then,
look at it this way. Anthony's here for 40 hours a week. If it wasn't for Anthony, that 40 hours would be being done by our technicians, right? So you look at Brendan's job kind of in the office as a service coordinator, answering customers' calls and tech support, so that when our customers call, if our customers call and they called a tech who's got his hands in the tank, one, they're probably going to get voicemail. Two, when the tech is calling on the back, what's on the tech's mind? Getting to his next job.
For sure.
So he's going to be in a rush environment.
Or not getting in an accident.
Right.
Eyes on the road.
That's not a great environment for our customers to be in.
Right.
So we've removed that too, so that our customers are calling Brendan in our office, our service coordinator, who's happy to help them, has all the time to do it. He's got a lot on his plate, but he's got the time and the resources right in front of him with all the tools that he needs, and he knows everything about that account just like the technician does.
Right.
And it keeps the frustration of interruption to a tech out of the game. And that's really huge. You got to keep the guys that are doing the work really focused. And that's one thing that we've done that's led to the success that we've had in building systems around service. If you look at the service companies in the country, the majority of them are just barely getting by and still trying to figure it out. It's not easy, but it all comes down to systems. And that's the only reason that FedEx and UPS make $1 delivering a package across the country overnight for $20, is because they have systems and process, and it's no different when you're maintaining aquariums either.
One of the things that attracted me to start talking with Kurt so much is the fact that he is so gracious with information. We took a stance almost from the beginning when my partner and I, Tom, when we got together. We're like, well, you know what? Everyone is so private. There's so many secrets. Why are we doing that? Because we're all kind of like inventing the wheel independently, where, let's be honest, that's selfish, right? But in business, you might think, I need to be the biggest and the best, and it's all about me. When you realize that there's a team and you realize there's an industry that basically needs participation to exist today, the way that society works, I think, through social media or through the internet, as far as just being able to get whatever you want or need instantly. But if you have that connection with somebody, you're not just going to get the valve, you're not just going to get the piece, you're going to get the expertise on how to actually do it.
Yeah.
Where there's a huge gap between, I can get anything I want. I guarantee you, anybody watching this who's consider yourself a fish person or a fish guy, and you have your own, you're do-it-yourselfer. You have a closet somewhere, you have a basement, you have something squirreled away with a collection of things that you bought on a whim that you don't really need.
Oh, of course.
you don't need, you're never going to use, it's collecting dust, and you know it's going to, about 10 years from now or 5 years, whenever you do this like huge clean out, you're going to see the price tag you spent, what you paid.
Completely wasted.
And it's out the window. So sometimes you can be a penny wise, dollar foolish. Well, taking the time, just even watching the video right now, you're investing in not making bad choices.
Right.
You can by saving that's priceless. You can never get the time back. When a tank crashes, or that's the worst case scenario possibly, or you have an embarrassing moment where you skip a step and now you've got company, or you've got the big meeting coming up,
Sure.
And you were very focused on, I'm going to save a couple bucks. I'm going to go get, no offense to Petco, like I'm going to get basically a consumer tank for a professional application. Ooh.
Yeah,
So even you can say it out loud, and that kind of makes you a little bit nervous. You spend all the time renting the copy machine to making sure that the coffee is right, that we have the right food out, but then your living art that's in your office, you decided to do it yourself or not do it professionally. Like, it doesn't make sense. You wouldn't do that with your lawn.
It doesn't, because the aquarium should be in your office to increase energy, reduce stress, build a good culture in your company. If you do it wrong, you're going to be on a bad foundation. You're not going to get the ROI that you're supposed to out of your aquarium. The ROI that companies get out of having their aquarium in their space is huge, and far more than the investment that they make, as long as it's done right and on the right foundation.
They're going to talk about it either way. Don't you want to talk about how amazing it is?
Exactly, yeah.
You know, they're going to still be like taken aback, but you don't want to say, that's an amazing fish tank. A little dirty. That's hurt. I don't want that. So I think that's the biggest push that we're saying to each other in the community, of like, circle the wagons, rally together. I love this quote. I think you used it as well. I used it for a show, but it's the truth. If you want to go far, take everyone. If you want to go fast, go alone.
That's right.
But you don't want to go fast. You want to go far. You got to bring everybody with you. Get everybody on the same page. You see an issue, you see a problem, point it out. You see a solution, point it out. Because then, what do you know? Everyone gets inspired to say, I don't know. I mean, for me personally, I've always been attracted to any type of water, any type of living anything. So to have it in a home, in an office, I've always been like, I want to be here more.
Well, since you're attracted to water,
let's go.
Let's wrap up. Head to Mystic Aquarium.
Yes.
Show you where 42,000 gallons of new aquariums are going, and we'll show you a 750,000 gallon exhibit that houses their beluga whales. And there's going to be a tremendous amount of awesome aquariums in the main gallery as well. So I think we should wrap up so that we have the afternoon to head to Mystic and check out a really cool place.
Awesome. See you soon. Meet you there.
Yes.
I can see you guys talking, so I just have to grab it.
Pee for a while, guys. Jeez, wrap it up.
He's got to pee.
Tom's back.
All right, I got
That'd be about 15 Dr. Peppers.
You're good.
So we'll.
We're going in behind the scenes. Mystic Aquarium. Ouch. Coming in, sneaking in to see the Mystic Aquarium. Here comes Tom. What? Behind the scenes. Why not? Love this.
actually have to it's chill, except for the winter. And these are the chilling heat exchangers for that. We're standing in front of the fish and invert holding area for fish that in 6 months, we won't just be standing on a concrete slab, but amongst 42,000 gallons of aquariums.
There's going to be giant skimmers and activation areas and water and places to put big pallets of salt. But this is a fish guy's dream. Behind the scenes access before it's even happening.
I am in the center of a 30-foot tank that is 24,000 gallons. Ryan was talking about bringing salt in. The building will be able to have a forklift come right in here, and a forklift will get the salt up there. That is where salt will be made. What you don't see are the vats that will be on the left there, housing over 15,000 gallons of makeup water so that you can maintain these tanks.
That's incredible. Talk about a water change. I mean, we're talking about moving a lot of water and trying to make a big dent in a system like this. Holy cow, that's a lot of gallons.
It's the forethought as to where floor drain goes and where your false bottom sump might be, and how to be able to really simplify maintaining the aquariums by having simple things like where do you run your water from and how do you do a water change.
But we're not just talking about moving PVC, just some simple stuff. They might use a hand tool. This takes a lot of thought. A designer, someone who's actually having the vision to move with the water, see where gravity is your friend, see where the pump, how to move so much gallons efficiently, because to be honest, if you underdo it, it's not going to be efficient at all. And it's going to take something that could take a day or an hour, or it could take weeks.
That's seriously one of the things we've thought about. In an emergency situation, if you have to drain that tank, what do you do? Well, behind you see a 4-inch pipe up there that will have this tank drained pretty quickly. All of that was thought of before we were even started building the building, all on paper, making sure that it was designed. The other thing is, in your business, my business, and certainly here at Mystic Aquarium, a nonprofit, their biggest resource, their biggest asset are their people, and it's also the biggest investment. So you want to manage that well by putting in place some of the technique and the simplicity and design that we included in this project. You're going to reduce payroll and certainly reduce frustration. We have 42,000 gallons of more aquariums coming here. We need to make sure that that doesn't require 6 more people to hire. It's a nonprofit with a great mission. We've got to have to be smart about our investments, and looking at being simple in design, which drives simplicity and maintenance, is really important, and we captured that here in this project.
What I'm also liking to see is the thought going into the fact that there's learning going on. There's students that are going to be learning about everything that's going to be displayed, and you guys are putting thought into muffling noises and sound and making sure that there aren't distractions that are distracting from the livestock, which that's incredible.
Yeah, noise. One of the researchers here at Mystic Aquarium actually did some research on the impact noise has on even aquarium fish. So it's something that a lot of people wouldn't think about, but it's really important to have the right environment, not only for the students, but also for the fish. And that has even been thought of as well.
That's incredible. Very, very cool. Congratulations. It's coming along amazing. It's cool to see the different facets of the building, parts that are different stages that are complete, waiting for other parts to be complete so the entire building can get its full use, which, I mean, I don't know the life expectancy of this place, but it seems like it's something to be around for 100 years.
We built this so that it'd be here for a long time and is versatile, so that we can change different type of species that might be on exhibit. So what's on exhibit today in the main gallery may change, and it does change on a regular basis. This building will be able to support the future of Mystic Aquarium.
Hi. Hello.
Welcome to my lair. This is my hollowed out volcano. Below me are sharks. Sharks with lasers taped to their head. Someone's got their flash on.
It's good. I like no big piece of pie. That's a more eel. What? All right, Brian, so we just had some fun here at Mystery Aquarium after visiting our showroom at Something Fishy. So what's something that you saw here at Mystery Aquarium that maybe you didn't expect? Was it the eel or?
Well, the eel, I mean, just being just the scale of things, like everything being so much bigger. In an aquarium, in a home aquarium or an office aquarium, you see a lot of stuff. When you're seeing thousands and tens of thousands, I mean, the sheer mass of salt that it takes to put together a water change, the size and scope of the skimmers. I mean, these skimmers that, you know, we could fit our entire team inside of a skimmer.
I mean, I said it before, but you remember, like Instant Ocean, the salt that has allowed hobbyists to have saltwater aquariums in their homes was invented here in at Mystery Aquarium.
This is it.
This is right here.
Wow.
Bill Kelly, the founder of Mystery Aquarium, and an inventor, scientist guy. He's the guy. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago, but he invented Instant Ocean right here in Mystic, Connecticut at Mystery Aquarium.
Very cool. If you guys are at all in the area, you need to come by Mystic Aquarium. This place is nuts.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Well, thanks for hanging out today. I think it's time that we go have some dinner.
Fair enough.
All right, let's go.